The holiday season is upon us, and there's no better way to spend it than with family, friends, and of course, our pets. If there's anything we all have in common, it's the love for our four-legged, two-legged, tailed, and scaled family members. And believe it or not, the White House residents aren't much different when it comes to celebrating the holidays with their non-human inhabitants. From the Lincolns to the Kennedys, our presidential animal pardons of the past ranged from turkeys to raccoons. Join us at the Thanksgiving table on this episode of Cool Stuff, Strange Things. The annual practice of pardoning a turkey at Thanksgiving has become quite a quirky tradition at the White House. But how did it start and why? Back in the 1870s, poultry dealer Horace Vose began supplying well-fed turkeys to the White House, not as pets, but as the main course of the family's Thanksgiving Day menu. Contrary to what we see today, there hasn't always been a peace pact between the president and the poultry. Unofficially, good old Honest Abe is said to have started the tradition of keeping the gobbling main dish off the table and on the family tree. Abe pardoned a turkey back in 1863 when his son Tad grew particularly fond of the bird, naming their newest companion Jack. At the request of his child, Abe spared the bird that Thanksgiving, and some of his successors seemed to follow his lead. You may have heard that President Harry Truman was the father of the presidential turkey pardon, but this is unfortunately false. Photos from Truman's administration show the president happily receiving a turkey as a gift from the Poultry and Egg National Board at a public event. But the archivists at the Harry S. Truman Presidential Library and Museum in Independence, Missouri have tried to set the record straight. On the museum's website, it states the library staff has found no documents, speeches, newspaper clippings, photographs, or other contemporary records of our holdings which refer to Truman's pardoning a turkey that he received as a gift in 1947 or at any other time during his presidency. The photo in question was of Truman receiving a turkey, kicking off an annual tradition of presidents receiving turkeys from the National Turkey Federation. But let's not throw Truman under the bus all by himself. Presidents Eisenhower, Ford, Nixon, and Carter were all guilty of dressing the turkeys for dinner as well. And we're not talking tuxedos. So if all these presidents chowed down on their table additions, where does the tradition of pardoning a turkey actually come from? Just days before his assassination, President John F. Kennedy casually spared his turkey. When given the bird, it wore a sign that read, "Good eatin', Mr. President." And rather than carve up the fowl, Kennedy said, "Let's just keep him." And in 1987, President Reagan sent his winged gift named Charlie off to a petting zoo. Though again, neither were an official pardon, they are credited in many present-day stories as a root of this tradition. It wasn't until 1989, the year of George H.W. Bush's first Thanksgiving, that the bird was officially pardoned. There's no concrete reason why President Bush put pen to paper and started this tradition, but I will say, those turkeys had it made. Aptly named May and Flower, the two birds were not only spared by President Bush, but received the royal treatment. Post-ceremony, May and Flower were flown to Disney World, where they served as honorary grand marshals in Disney's Thanksgiving Day parade. President Bush wished them on their way, stating, "May they live the rest of their lives in blissful gobbling." With turkeys off the table, it may seem as though the story ends here. But amidst all the gobbling gifts to arrive at the front door of the White House, turkeys weren't the only animals who needed saving. In late November 1926, a man named Vinnie Joyce from Mississippi sent President Calvin Coolidge a different animal to grace his Thanksgiving table: a raccoon. Now, I don't know about you, but raccoon is certainly not on my list of Thanksgiving food requests. 4 kinds of potatoes, maybe, but raccoon is slightly out of my wheelhouse. However, raccoon is supposedly full of meat less fatty than that of the more commonly consumed possum. But even so, Coolidge never had tasted raccoon meat, and he wasn't about to start with a gift from the forests of Mississippi. When asked if the raccoon was edible, the president said, "It might be for some people, but it's not for me." You would think alongside lions and bears, a raccoon would be the least of the family's worries. But according to the White House staff, Rebecca was a regular Houdini. She could wriggle free from harnesses, break out of her cages, and she tore apart just about everything in the house from clothing to furniture. Sounds more like the scavenging raccoons we know today. Eventually, the Coolidge family built Rebecca a wooden house on the White House's south lawn, just outside the window of the president's office. Naming the otherwise wild animal Rebecca was actually her Christmas gift that year, along with a shiny collar engraved with her name and the title, Rebecca Raccoon of the White House. So what happened to this woodland creature, you might ask? Eventually, after some more temper tantrums, outbreaks, and the supposed biting of President Coolidge, Rebecca retired from the press and paparazzi to the White House backyard. Coolidge actually granted her a companion in 1928 named Reuben to keep her company. But still, she wasn't satisfied with her living arrangements and made many attempts to escape. When these fleeing habits became more and more common, the Coolidges decided to donate Rebecca to the National Zoo. While we can expect to see more turkey pardons at the White House, we wouldn't count on any of Rebecca's cousins joining the crew anytime soon. It's now illegal to keep a raccoon as a pet in the District of Columbia, and with the havoc Rebecca wreaked on the president's closet, home, and living room, we can see why. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and tune in on Ripleys.com for more strange holiday stories this season. I'm Steph DeStazio, and we'll catch you next week for another episode full of cool stuff and strange things. From quite a quirky tradition, son of a gun, tradition, has been why is this so hard for me? Receiving, oh my god, I was so close. Just about everything. No, that's not right. Do that again, Stephanie. Shoot, Pennsylvania Avenue Zoo, not just the Pennsylvania Zoo.